My daughter called me at 6 in the morning to tell me I needed to stop embarrassing her fiancé's family by showing up to dinner parties in my Kohl's clearance rack dresses. I'm Rose Turner. I'm 58 years old. And for the past 32 years, I've been playing a role my children never questioned. They think I'm just a housewife, someone who peaked in the 1990s, raised her kids, and then faded into comfortable irrelevance with coupons and gardening gloves. What my daughter Brianna doesn't know is that the dress she mocked, the one with the small floral print that I bought for $24.99, cost me less than the catering bill I'd just paid for her engagement party. That bill was $47,000. If you're watching this, understand something. This isn't about revenge. This is about what happens when your children love the idea of you more than the reality of who you are. My life looks simple from the outside. I live in a modest 3-bedroom ranch house north of Dallas. Same house where I raised my kids. Same cracked driveway I've been meaning to fix for 5 years. I drive a 2015 Honda CR Vi with duct tape holding the side mirror on. My clothes come from Target and Kohl's clearance racks. I clip grocery coupons from the Sunday paper. My husband Alan taught high school history for 30 years before retiring. Now he golfs and watches the History Channel. We're comfortable. We're invisible in the way middle-class retirees are. That's what everyone thinks. I have 2 children. Austin is 34, a corporate attorney making $180,000 a year. I know because he told me, wanting me to understand he'd made it. He's married to Taylor, 31, an influencer with 89,000 Instagram followers. Her content is designer bags, expensive brunches, and self-made woman quotes over yoga poses. Taylor is beautiful in that carefully constructed way. She's also deeply ashamed of where Austin came from. You can see it in how she flinches when I hug her, like poverty might be contagious. They have 2 kids, Emma, 4, and Noah, 2. I see them maybe twice a month now, always on Taylor's schedule, always when it's convenient for her content calendar. Then there's Brianna, 29, marketing executive. She's engaged to Mason Bryant, whose family has their name on a building downtown. His father owns a development company. His mother hosts charity luncheons where the napkins cost more than my grocery bill. Brianna used to be my little girl. She used to ask me to French braid her hair every morning from 3rd through 8th grade. Now she asks me not to wear certain outfits when her future in-laws might see me. The shift happened 5 years ago after her promotion. Suddenly our house wasn't cozy, it was small. My cooking wasn't homemade, it was simple. I wasn't Mom, I was increasingly just Rose, said with a slight sigh. Both my children treat me like a resource. Free babysitter when Taylor needs content time. Event planner for birthday parties. The person they call for small loans. 200 here, 500 there, never paid back because we're family. But I'm not invited to important things anymore. Austin's company party? Just colleagues, Mom. Brianna's work events? Pretty corporate. You'd be bored. Taylor's influencer meetups? I've never been mentioned. Last Thanksgiving, I cooked for 14 hours. Taylor posted the spread on Instagram. Blessed to have such a beautiful family gathering. I wasn't in a single photo. When I asked, she said, I only post aesthetic content. You understand? I did understand. Perfectly. The breaking point came 3 weeks ago at Brianna's engagement party. Mason's family hosted it at their estate. Circular driveway, columns, chandelier in the foyer worth more than my house. The invitation said cocktail attire. I wore a navy blue dress with subtle florals, $24.99 at Kohl's, marked down from $89. Black pumps I've had for a decade. Simple pearl earrings Alan gave me for our 20th anniversary. I brought homemade lemon bars in a Tupperware container. The valet looked confused where to park my CR-V among the BMWs and Teslas. About 60 people were inside, all holding champagne flutes. Everyone dressed like magazine models. Then there was me with my Tupperware. Brianna saw me first. Quick flash of panic before she smoothed into a smile. Mom, you made it! You look nice. She grabbed the lemon bars. I'll just put these in the kitchen. She disappeared. Mason's mother, Patricia Bryant, glided over. There's no other word for it. Designer pantsuit. Enough diamonds to fund a small country. Rose, how lovely. What a charming dress. The pause before charming said everything. Thank you, Patricia. You know, Rose, I know some wonderful consignment shops. Very tasteful, very affordable. Sometimes we all need help making appropriate choices. I'd be happy to share recommendations. She thought she was being kind. That's thoughtful, I said. I'll keep that in mind. It got worse. I found Austin talking to Mason's brother near the bar. I stopped when I heard his voice. Yeah, Mom never really accomplished anything, you know. She just stayed home. Different generation. They didn't have the same opportunities. Cameron nodded. My mom was the same way. Just sort of existed. It's sad, really. Exactly. And now she doesn't understand how the modern world works. Money, investments, any of it. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. I stood there holding my wine, the house white, the cheap bottle, and felt something crack inside my chest. This was my son, the boy I'd rocked to sleep every night for 3 years because of night terrors, the teenager I'd driven to debate tournaments at 5 a.m. on Saturdays, the young man whose law school applications I'd proofread. I went to the bathroom and stared at myself in the mirror. I looked tired. I looked every one of my 58 years. I looked exactly like what they thought I was, a woman who'd never done anything remarkable. When I came out, Taylor was in the hallway taking selfies against a floral arrangement. She saw me in the background of one photo. Her expression soured. She posted it anyway. Caption: when your MIL shows up to a black tie event in that Pray For Me of family struggles, 3,000 likes within an hour. 200 comments. Most sympathetic to Taylor. Some cruel about me. OMG, is she wearing floral? Someone needs to take Grandma shopping. This is why I have a dress code for family events. Sorry, not sorry. I left early. Nobody noticed. I sat in my car for 20 minutes, hands shaking. Not from anger, from grief. The grief of realizing your children don't know you at all. Alan was waiting up. One look at my face, and he wrapped me in his arms. That bad? Worse? Are you ready? I pulled back and looked at him. My husband, my partner, the only person in my family who knew everything. Not yet, I said. I need to see how far they'll go. 3 days later, I got my answer. Saturday morning. I was in my garden pulling weeds when Austin's car pulled into the driveway. Brianna's car right behind him. They found me in the backyard. Austin in designer jeans and a $150 polo. Brianna in expensive athleisure. Mom, we need to talk about your situation. My situation? Don't be defensive. We're worried. We want to help. They walked me inside, sat me at my own kitchen table, and proceeded to explain my life to me. Austin took the lead. Mom, Taylor and I think it's time to discuss your future. You and Dad are getting older. I'm 58, not 80. But be realistic. This house is too much. The maintenance, the yard, the property taxes. What, $8,000 a year? That's money you can't afford to waste. Your house poor. Brianna pulled out her phone. Mason's family knows a wonderful senior living community. Very affordable. Senior living? I run 6 miles 3 times a week. It's about planning ahead, being smart. Austin pulled out a folder. Actual printed documents. We've put together a financial plan. Best option is selling the house. Market value around $420,000. After fees, you'd clear maybe $380,000. He showed me a breakdown. $150,000 to Austin for the grandchildren's college fund. $150,000 to Brianna for the wedding and house down payment. $80,000 for me and Alan for a comfortable apartment. My entire future in a spreadsheet. And if I say no, they exchanged a look. Mom, Brianna said gently, don't make this difficult. You've been showing signs of forgetfulness. You forgot Emma's birthday. I didn't forget. I sent her gift to Austin's old address deliberately, testing if anyone would notice. They noticed the mistake. They didn't notice I'd written it in different handwriting or included a test note. We've talked to an attorney, Austin continued. Texas has provisions for family property transfers, especially when there are concerns about the current owner's ability to maintain. Are you threatening me? We're preventing you from making poor decisions. You're asset rich, cash poor. Do you have $12,000 for a new HVAC when yours fails? I need to think. Think fast. We've drafted preliminary documents. We want to move forward in 2 weeks. After they left, I sat staring at their spreadsheet. They'd calculated my worth down to the dollar, divided up my biggest asset like splitting a restaurant check. I called Alan. Honey, it's time. You're sure? They threatened legal action. Our son threatened to take our house. Long silence. I'll make the call, he said. Tomorrow? Tomorrow. That night I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about Austin at 5, crying over a scraped knee. Brianna at 7, showing me her Mother's Day card. You're the best mommy in the whole world. When had I stopped being the best mommy? At 3 a.m., I went to my home office, the small room the kids think contains old photos and tax returns. I opened my filing cabinet, the real one, locked for 32 years. Inside were documents my children had never seen, articles of incorporation for RM Holdings dated 1992, property deeds for 23 commercial buildings across Texas and Oklahoma, bank statements showing liquid assets of $41.3 million, a Bloomberg profile, the invisible real estate queens of Texas. I took photos with my phone. Yes, I have a smartphone. Then I made my list. 3 phone calls that would teach my children the most expensive lesson of their lives. First, Patricia Williams, my attorney for 20 years. Second, Rebecca Stone, my business partner. Third, the call that would set everything in motion. I looked at my watch. 3:47 a.m. In 5 hours, my children's world would start to crumble. I didn't feel angry. I felt sad. Sad it had come to this. Sad they'd valued me so little. But mostly I felt determined. They wanted to teach me about financial planning, asset management, smart decisions. Class was about to begin. I made 3 phone calls the next morning. The first was to Patricia Williams at 8 a.m. sharp. Patricia, it's Rose. I need the documents we discussed. All of them. I want everything ready by this afternoon. Rose, are you absolutely certain? Once we file these, I've never been more certain of anything in my life. Understood. I'll have everything ready by 2 p.m. The second call was to Rebecca Stone, my business partner for the past 15 years. Rebecca and I started small, 2 women with big ideas and modest capital. Now RM Holdings was worth $67 million, and Rebecca ran the daily operations while I stayed blissfully invisible. Becky, it's time. I need you to accelerate the foundation timeline. The $40 million charitable foundation? Rose, that's not supposed to launch until next quarter. I need it announced this week, and I need my name attached. Full name, Rose Mitchell Turner. Silence on the other end. Then your kids? Found out exactly what they think I'm worth. Oh, honey, I'm so sorry. Don't be. Just get me the press release by Friday. The third call I didn't make immediately. I waited. Because timing, I'd learned in 32 years of business, was everything. 2 weeks passed. I didn't hear from Austin or Brianna. Taylor's Instagram went suspiciously quiet. No family content, no mention of her mother-in-law, nothing but generic motivational quotes and product placements. I went about my life. Gardening, book club, grocery shopping with my coupons. I waited. Then, 12 days after our kitchen table confrontation, Brianna called. Mom! Her voice was tight, controlled. We need to talk. It's an emergency. What kind of emergency? The wedding venue. Parker Estate just canceled. The owner sold the property to some developer. Our $85,000 deposit is gone. The wedding is in 2 weeks, Mom. 2 weeks and we have nowhere to hold it. I could hear Mason in the background, his voice raised. I could hear Brianna crying. I'm so sorry, sweetheart. That's terrible. I don't know what to do. Every venue in Dallas is booked. Mason's family is furious. His mother keeps saying this makes us look disorganized and unprofessional. Taylor's been posting about it. She's making it worse. What about Riverside Gardens? I asked quietly. Mom, that's the premium venue in Dallas. It costs $120,000 for a weekend. We can't afford—" She stopped. Wait, how do you even know about Riverside Gardens? It's beautiful. Perfect for a wedding. Let me make a call. Mom, you can't just call them. You need connections. You need— Brianna, let me make the call. I did it right there on speakerphone while Brianna listened. Riverside Gardens Events, this is Michael speaking. Michael, this is Rose Mitchell, RM Holdings. Ms. Mitchell, of course, how can I help you? I need the venue for the weekend of the 23rd. Personal event. Family wedding. I could hear him typing. That weekend is available. We'd be honored to host your event. No charge, of course, as per your owner's agreement. Perfect. My daughter Brianna Turner will contact you with details. Wonderful. We'll take excellent care of your family, Ms. Mitchell. I hung up. Brianna was silent for a long moment. Mom, what just happened? You have your venue, Riverside Gardens, no charge. Who's RM Holdings? My company, sweetheart, RM Holdings. I've owned Riverside Gardens for about 6 years now. Good investment property. You own— Mom, what are you talking about? Come over tomorrow. Bring Austin. We need to have a conversation. They showed up at 10 a.m. Austin brought Taylor, despite my not inviting her. Mason came with Brianna, looking uncomfortable. I had my iPad ready, the one they didn't know I owned. The one with access to every financial document, every property deed, every bank statement. Sit down, I said. I pulled up the RM Holdings portfolio and turned the screen toward them. Austin leaned forward, reading. His face went white. 23 commercial properties, 3 shopping centers, 1 office complex. He looked up at me. Mom, is this real? Completely real. This says the total portfolio value is $67 million. 67.2, actually. The market's been good. Brianna grabbed the iPad. You own Lakewood Plaza? That's where I go to— She stopped. Oh my God. My salon. My boutique. They're all in your plaza. Yes. Taylor was scrolling frantically on her phone. Her face had gone pale. The boutique I tagged last week. The one I told my followers was my favorite hidden gem. That's in Lakewood Plaza. Building 3, Suite 201, I confirmed. Nice shop. They pay $8,200 a month in rent. Austin stood up abruptly. Wait, Lakewood Plaza, Mom, that's where my law firm is. Yes, I know. Patterson and Associates. You've been working there for 6 years. You own the building where I work? I bought it 8 years ago. Prime location, good bones, excellent tenants. Your firm pays $45,000 a month. He sat back down like his legs had given out. Mason spoke for the first time. Mrs. Turner, I need to verify this. This would make you one of the largest commercial property owners in North Texas. Top 15, I said, but I keep a low profile. Why? Austin's voice cracked. Why didn't you tell us? Because I wanted to see who you'd become without my money influencing you. That's not fair, isn't it? Let me ask you something, Austin. Would you have tried to take my house if you'd known I was worth $67 million? Silence. Would you have told Mason's brother that I never accomplished anything? More silence. Taylor was still staring at her phone. I've been shopping at your properties. I've been tagging them. I've been building my brand around locations you own. Yes. My followers. They're going to find out. They're going to know my self-made story was built in buildings owned by my mother-in-law. That does seem ironic, I said. Brianna found her voice. Mom, I don't understand. You've been clipping coupons, shopping at Kohl's, driving that old Honda. The Honda runs fine. The coupons save money. The Kohl's dresses are perfectly nice. None of that has anything to do with how much money I have in the bank, Brianna. But why live like you're poor? I finished. I don't live like I'm poor. I live like someone who knows the difference between being wealthy and being wasteful. Austin was reading through the documents on the iPad. There's more. Mom, this shows you started RM Holdings in 1992. I was born in 1990. You started this when I was 2? Yes. How? You were a stay-at-home mom. I worked during your school hours. Later, during your nap times when you were little, I was always home by 3 p.m., never missed a parent-teacher conference, a soccer game, or a bedtime story. I don't remember you working. That was the point. I wanted you to have a normal childhood, not one where you knew your mother was building a real estate empire. Taylor stood up. I need to go. I need to delete. I need to fix. She left without finishing the sentence. That evening, my phone started buzzing. Austin had told people. Or maybe Taylor had posted something. Or maybe someone at Riverside Gardens had mentioned it. By morning, it would be everywhere. Mason's mother called me directly. Rose, I had no idea about your assets. This changes the wedding arrangements entirely. We should discuss. Nothing changes, Patricia. Brianna gets the venue. That's my gift. Everything else stays as planned. But surely with your resources. Good night, Patricia. I hung up. 3 days later, I hosted a dinner at my house. I invited Austin, Taylor, Brianna, Mason, and Mason's parents. We need to clear the air before the wedding, I told them. They all came, probably expecting me to apologize or explain further. I served my usual homemade meal. Pot roast, mashed potatoes, green beans, the same dinner I'd been making for 35 years. Patricia Bryant waited until we were halfway through the meal. Rose, I think we're all curious. How exactly did a housewife acquire such substantial commercial assets? I set down my fork. I wasn't always just a housewife, Patricia. Before Austin was born, I worked in commercial real estate. I was good at it. In 1992, I had $50,000 saved, money I'd earned myself. I bought my first small office building. While raising a toddler, Patricia's eyebrows rose. I worked during his school hours. I renovated that building myself, learned plumbing, electrical, everything, leased it out, reinvested the profits. By 1995, I owned 3 properties. Austin leaned forward. I never knew any of this. You weren't supposed to. I wanted you to build your own life, not rely on my money. But you let us think you were struggling, Brianna said. I never said I was struggling. You saw a stay-at-home mom in Kohl's dresses and made assumptions. Taylor, who'd been silent all evening, spoke up. This feels like manipulation, like you were testing us. I was, and you failed. The table went silent. What's not fair, I continued, is what you all did. I pulled out a folder. Inside were printouts, screenshots of Taylor's Instagram posts mocking me, text messages between Austin and Brianna calling me clueless about money, the email from Brianna to Mason. Once we get her house, we can finally stop pretending to care about her opinion. I read them out loud. Every single one. Austin's face turned red. Brianna started crying. Mason stared at his plate. Patricia and her husband looked uncomfortable. You wanted my house, I said quietly. You wanted to put me in senior living. You were embarrassed of me, not because I was cruel or absent or a bad mother, because I wore affordable clothes and drove a modest car. Mom, Austin started. You threatened me with legal action. You suggested I had cognitive decline. You calculated my worth down to the dollar and decided you deserved it more than I did. I stood up. So I've made some decisions. RM Holdings will be restructured. $40 million will go to a charitable foundation, education, and women's entrepreneurship. $20 million will be divided between my business partner Rebecca and employee profit sharing. The remaining $7 million is my personal assets. What about us? Brianna whispered. Austin, you get nothing. Brianna, you get nothing. Your children, Emma and Noah, will receive $500,000 each in trust funds, accessible at age 25 if they complete college without family financial help. Taylor gasped. Mason's parents exchanged glances. However, I continued, you have 6 months to change my mind. Not with words, with actions. Show me you value people over money. Show me you can build something yourselves. Show me you understand what I tried to teach you all along. This is revenge, Austin said angrily. No, revenge would be destroying your careers. This is consequence. I'm giving you a chance to become the people I hoped you'd be. Brianna was sobbing now. Mom, please, the wedding happens as planned, at Riverside Gardens. My gift. But that's the last gift until you earn your way back. They left in silence. All of them. Alan and I cleaned up together. He dried dishes while I washed. That was hard, he said. The hardest thing I've ever done. Do you think they'll change? I looked out the window at Austin's car pulling away, at Brianna's silhouette in the passenger seat of Mason's Mercedes. I don't know, I said honestly, but I had to give them the chance. That night I lay awake thinking about my children as babies, about all the sacrifices I'd made, all the hours I'd worked while they slept, all the dreams I'd built for them. I'd given them everything except the truth about who I was. Maybe that had been my mistake all along, or maybe it had been the greatest gift I could give them, the chance to love me for who I was, not what I had. Now we'd find out which version of their mother they truly wanted, the one in the Kohl's dress, or the one with $67 million they never knew existed. Either way, the next 6 months would reveal everything. The morning after the confrontation dinner, I woke to silence. No phone calls, no texts, no frantic messages from my children begging me to reconsider. Just silence. Alan brought me coffee on the back porch. How do you feel? Like I just cut off my own arm, I said. But it was the right thing to do. He kissed the top of my head. Give them time. Time. That's all I was asking for. 6 months to prove they could value people over money. 6 months to show me they understood what really mattered. I didn't know if it would be enough. Taylor posted a video 3 days after the dinner. I didn't watch it initially. Brianna called me, crying, to tell me about it. Mom, she's telling everything, the whole story. She's crying on camera. It's going viral. I found it on my phone. Taylor, bare-faced without her usual perfect makeup, sitting in her car. I need to be honest with you all, she said to the camera, voice shaking. I've been living a lie. My self-made story? It was built in buildings my mother-in-law owns. The mother-in-law I mocked. The woman I called poor on Instagram. Turns out she's worth $67 million, and I'm the poorest person in this family. Not in money, in character. The comments were brutal. Brands started dropping her. Her follower count plummeted from 89,000 to 34,000 in 2 days. Austin called me once during that first month. His voice was strained. Mom, Taylor lost everything. Her sponsorships, her income. That was how we were planning to pay for the kids' activities for what, Austin? Things you actually need or things that make you look successful? Silence. I need you to think about that, I said. Really think. He hung up. Brianna's wedding happened as scheduled. Riverside Gardens was beautiful. Magnolias in full bloom, string lights over the outdoor pavilion, everything she'd dreamed of. I attended. I wore a new dress, not from Kohl's this time, but still simple. Navy blue, elegant, appropriate. Mason's family was polite but distant. Brianna barely looked at me during the ceremony. When she threw the bouquet, I stood in the back, watching my daughter marry a man whose family had taught her to be ashamed of her own mother. At the reception, I found Brianna alone for a moment. Congratulations, sweetheart. You look beautiful. She turned to me, eyes filled with tears. I don't know if I deserve this, any of this. After what I said about you, after what I tried to do. You have 6 months, I said gently. Show me you've learned. That's all I'm asking. Austin called at 2 a.m. on a Tuesday. Mom, are you awake? I am now. What's wrong? Emma's sick. High fever. Taylor's freaking out and we can't afford the ER copay right now. Not with Taylor not working and the credit cards maxed and his voice broke. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to live like this. Take her to the ER, Austin. I'll call ahead and cover it. I thought you said no more help. I said earn your way back. Emma's health isn't a lesson. It's my granddaughter. Take care of her. We'll talk later. The bill was $2,400. I paid it without telling him. The next day he showed up at my house. He looked terrible. unshaven, exhausted, wearing sweatpants I'd never seen him in before. "Thank you," he said. For Emma. Of course. Can I help you with something? Your garden? The gutters? I saw they need cleaning. I handed him my gardening gloves. Weeds are winning in the back. I could use help. We spent 3 hours in silence, pulling weeds side by side. Austin had never gardened a day in his life. He did it all wrong. Pulled too hard, got dirt everywhere, probably destroyed some good plants along with the weeds. But he tried. When we finished, he sat on the back porch steps, filthy and sweating. "I never asked you about your day," he said quietly. "Growing up, you'd ask me about school every single day. And I never once asked what you did while I was gone. You were a child. That was my job. I'm 34 years old, Mom. I should have asked." Brianna started volunteering at a women's shelter. She didn't tell me. I found out from Rebecca, who served on the shelter's board. "Your daughter's teaching financial literacy classes," Rebecca said over coffee. "Every Tuesday and Thursday evening. She's actually quite good." She didn't mention it. Maybe she's trying to prove something to herself first, before proving it to you. Taylor got a job at a consignment boutique. Not as an influencer or brand ambassador, as a floor sales associate, $15 an hour. Austin sent me a photo one evening, him reading to Emma and Noah before bed. The caption, "Mom, did you read to me every night? I don't remember asking you to, but I'm doing it for them now. Thank you for doing it for me." I cried reading that text. Austin asked if he could bring the kids over on Sunday afternoons, not for babysitting, just to visit. "I want them to know you," he said. "The real you, not the grandmother I invented in my head." Those Sundays became sacred. We'd garden together. Emma loved the tomatoes. Noah collected earthworms in a bucket. Austin would ask me questions about RM Holdings, about how I built it, about the early days. "Why real estate?" he asked one afternoon. "Because it's tangible. You can see it, touch it, improve it. Every building I bought was something I could make better. Like raising children, I suppose. You start with potential and work to help it grow." "Did we grow the way you hoped?" I looked at him. Really looked. He'd lost weight. The expensive clothes were gone, replaced with Target jeans and plain t-shirts. His hands had calluses now from yard work. "You're growing now," I said. "That's what matters." Brianna showed up one evening with Mason. They'd moved out of his parents' guest house into a small apartment. "We're paying our own way now," she said. "Mason's working more hours. I took a second job teaching online marketing courses. It's hard, Mom. Really hard. But I'm learning what things actually cost." Mason added, "I never understood what my parents' money protected me from. The stress, the budgeting, the choices. I'm learning alongside Brianna. Your daughter is teaching me more than my MBA ever did." Taylor called me. First time she'd called me directly in 6 months. "Rose, it's Taylor. Can we talk?" We met at a coffee shop. She looked different. Still pretty, but real now. Less makeup, simpler clothes. "I deleted Instagram," she said. "Well, I started a new account, anonymous. I write about financial recovery, about rebuilding after you've lost everything. I don't show my face. I don't want followers. I just want to help people who made the same mistakes I did." "What mistakes were those?" Thinking worth was measured in likes, in brands, in appearances. She stirred her coffee. "I grew up poor, Rose. Really poor. When I built my following, when brands started paying me, I thought I'd finally made it. I thought I was better than where I came from. And now? Now I'm back where I started. $15 an hour. Shopping at thrift stores. Clipping coupons." She smiled. "And I'm happier than I've ever been. Because it's real. I'm not performing anymore. Austin told me you're the one who pushed him to start therapy. We're both in therapy. Couples counseling too. Turns out building a marriage on image doesn't work so well when the image crumbles. And now? Now we're building on truth. It's harder, but it's solid." My 59th birthday fell on a Saturday. I wasn't expecting anything. The kids knew I didn't like fuss. Usually I'd get a phone call, maybe a card in the mail. Alan and I were having quiet coffee when the doorbell rang at 9 a.m. Austin stood there with Emma and Noah. Brianna was behind him with Mason. Taylor brought up the rear carrying a picnic basket. "Surprise?" Austin said uncertainly. "We wanted to celebrate with you, if that's okay." They'd planned a family day, not expensive, just thoughtful. We went to the park where I used to take them as children. Emma and Noah played on the same swings Austin and Brianna had once used. Taylor had packed sandwiches, homemade, she emphasized. I learned to make them myself. No catering. At lunch, Austin pulled out a photo album. "I've been working on this for 3 months, he said. "I called your old colleagues, looked through records, talked to Rebecca. I compiled your story, the real one." The album documented everything. My first property purchase in 1992, newspaper clippings about RM Holdings' growth, photos from ribbon-cutting ceremonies I'd attended under my maiden name, everything my children had missed because they'd never asked. "Mom, I had no idea you spoke at women's entrepreneurship conferences," Brianna said, looking through the pages. "Or that you mentored young business owners, or that you funded scholarships for single mothers going back to college." "I didn't do it for recognition." "I know," Austin said quietly. "That's what I'm finally learning. You did everything. Built your empire, raised us, supported Dad's teaching career, and you never once needed us to applaud you for it." Brianna handed me an envelope. "This isn't a gift. It's a letter. 10 pages. Everything I've learned in 6 months. Everything I want you to know I understand now." I opened it there at the picnic table. Her handwriting filled every page. Messy, emotional, real. "Dear Mom, I'm writing this on my lunch break at the shelter. There's a woman here named Maria who reminds me of you. Quiet strength, working 3 jobs, putting her kids first, never complaining. Today I helped her budget for groceries and I realized this was you. This was always you. You didn't need expensive clothes or a fancy car because you knew they were just things. You knew what really mattered was being present, being strong, being real. I'm so sorry it took me 29 years to see it. I couldn't read the rest through my tears." Taylor's gift was simpler. She deleted her old Instagram completely. "I don't need to perform my life anymore. I just need to live it." The grandchildren had made cards. Emma's had a drawing of me in my garden. Noah's was scribbles, but Austin explained. He said it's you and him catching worms. It's his favorite thing now, helping you garden. That evening, back at my house, I gathered everyone in the living room. "I've made a decision," I said. The room went silent. 6 months ago, I challenged you to show me you'd changed. Not with words, but with actions. I looked at each of them. "You've shown me." I pulled out revised documents. "My will has been updated. Austin, you'll receive $5 million. Brianna, $5 million. The grandchildren's trusts remain as originally planned." "Mom," Austin started. "Let me finish. The money comes with one condition. You continue the work you've started. Austin, you keep being present for your children. Brianna, you keep volunteering. Taylor, you keep building something real, not performed. You teach your children what you've learned about character versus wealth." "We will," Brianna whispered. "The remaining assets will still fund the foundation, but you're invited to serve on the board, if you want. Help other families learn what you've learned." Mason spoke up. "Mrs. Turner, would you be willing to share your story publicly? My parents' foundation wants to sponsor a women's entrepreneurship program. Your journey could inspire—" "Under one condition," I interrupted. "It's not about me. It's about the lesson. Success isn't what you inherit. It's who you become when nobody's watching." We had dinner together that night, all of us cooking in my small kitchen. It was chaotic. Emma spilled flour everywhere. Noah cried when he couldn't reach the counter. Taylor burned the garlic bread. But we laughed. Real laughter, not the performative kind. At one point, Emma asked me, "Grandma, if you're rich, why do you still shop at Kohl's?" I knelt down to her level. "Because a good deal is a good deal, sweetheart." Money doesn't change that. And the money isn't what makes me rich. What makes you rich? I looked around my kitchen, at my imperfect, struggling, learning children, at my patient husband, at my beautiful grandchildren. This, I said, all of you, right here, that's what makes me rich. Later, after everyone left, Alan and I sat on the back porch, the same porch where this journey had really started 6 months ago. Do you think they really learned? He asked. I think they're learning. That's all I can ask. And you? How do you feel? I thought about it, about the heartbreak of 6 months ago, about watching my children try to take my house, about the confrontation dinner, the hard truths, the painful silences. I feel like a mother, I said finally. Not a perfect one, but one who loved her children enough to let them fail, to let them struggle, to let them find their way back. That's the hardest kind of love. It's the only kind worth having. 6 months later, Austin called me from his office, his new office at a smaller firm, where he made less money but worked reasonable hours. Mom, I'm coming home for dinner at 5:30. Emma has a dance recital at 7. Can you come? Of course. I asked what you'd be doing today. Rebecca told me you're negotiating for a new property, an old warehouse you want to convert into affordable housing for single mothers. Rebecca talks too much. Mom, I'm proud of you. I should have said that years ago. I'm proud of everything you built, but I'm more proud that you built it while still being present for us. I didn't appreciate it then. I do now. Thank you, sweetheart. And Mom, I'm wearing a Kohl's shirt to the recital. It was on clearance, $24.99. He laughed. Turns out it fits just fine. Some people never learn that the best inheritance isn't money, it's character. My children learned. It cost them 6 months, countless tears, and the hardest self-examination of their lives. But they learned. And that lesson? That's worth more than $67 million. That's worth everything.